Well, praise the Lord, hallelujah, and thank you, Jesus. It's around that time right here on KAZ Radio where I have one of my most favorite shows, none other Women of Purpose with Janette Toney. Take it away, Janette.
Well, good afternoon. Welcome to Women of Wisdom Let's Talk podcast, where we uplift women who are walking by faith into their destiny. And today we have Catherine Smith, who is the owner of GMAP. Hi, Catherine Smith. Welcome to Women of Wisdom.
Hello, Janetta. How are you today?
I am good, thank you. And you?
I am great.
Good.
Happy to be here with you.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about GMAP.
Well, GMAP is...
What does it stand for, the GMAP?
GMAP is Grace, Mercy, and Peace. And I found it in 2nd John, and basically it had just stuck out to me because it was like grace, mercy, and peace to all of our people. Mm-hmm. And you know, it kind of stuck out to me because I'm like, grace, mercy, and peace, like that's what we need within each other. Like, and this is what God was talking to, you know, this is what John was saying to the people. Like, we all need grace, we all go through mercy, and we all need peace. So it stuck with me for my business purpose because I specialize in mental health and rehabilitation. So that was something that was close to me. So I had several different names. I was like writing acronyms. I was like, well, this, and then that just came to me one day I was reading. So
wow.
GMAP. Yep.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So pretty much tell us about how this business got started, what brought it into fruition, where did it start at, how was it birthed?
It was, well, first of all, I'm still birthing.
That's right.
Okay, so it's still in the womb right now, so I'm getting myself together.
Okay, all right. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
So it actually started because I had always been talking about it with my family. Always was saying, I was, I was just talking to my brother, and I was just like, you know, I'm going to get this group home going. And as you know, I was working at the post office, 12-hour days, 10-hour days, after work. After work, got to go home and be a mother. So it was to the point where I could never really make time for what, you know, the season that I knew that I was going in. So my brother had brought a house on our family street. And to mind you, I did all my classes. Like, I have a mentor. She's very awesome. So I had kept going through my classes to keep my certificate going. I had hooked up with my Montana for the nonprofit. And I was just sitting there. I was just at a standstill because it was like, okay, I could get this time in on the weekends, you know, when I'm off of work. But how do I legitimately have the time to really go full throttle? So my brother had came to me. He was like, I brought this house across the street. This gonna be your group home. He was like, look, I'm going to flip the house. You're going to have landlords, but I'm going to make sure you in a 2-year lease before I flip this house. And I was like, yeah, it sounds good. But it was like, this house been sitting, you know, blah, blah, blah. So moving forward, still going to work. And I ended up getting injured at work. And that time when I was sitting down, it brought a lot of things to surface. It brought a lot of things to surface as far as my purpose, where I was at, what I was working towards. And it also brought to surface of my son and his condition as well. Okay. So I was like, okay, I want to specialize in mental health. I want to help people. I want to help people who is disabled and things like that. But it also made me have an eye-opener of my own child. So I went through the diagnosis with my son. You know, he has autism and things like that. And during that time, I was going through my city inspections for the group home. So new requirements is coming. So now my doctor got me off work for 12 weeks. So I was like, okay, well, I'm injured, but I could still move my hand. I could still do what I need to do. So that's how I started. Got the inspections done. Went through the whole process of struggling. Like, I struggled. My supervisors wasn't very happy with me being injured at work. So it was money that was lost. It was paperwork that was, not signed off on in time for me to get the pay that I needed. So I really had savings and I really had family. Like, my family really came through and gave me that push. So fast forward, time for me to go back to work. Went through my couple of inspections, then the pandemic hit. Okay. So it was like, okay, the pandemic did hit. So the surveyor, because you have surveyors that come out from the state, and they need everything to be in the house. Tables, beds, everything needs to be ready, as if when they pass this inspection, they're going to give me my license and I can welcome people in here.
Okay.
So my surveyor had came out twice, because the steps wasn't sturdy enough and because I had a lock on the back of a door. So I kept getting closer and closer, and then it was like I was getting pulled back in at work. So finally, my son had to have a surgery. So I went back to work, but my son had to get his tonsils and adenoids removed. And I'm like, okay, I'm still at this job. I'm working. He in therapy by this time, 3 days out of the week. I'm dropping time at work. I'm making it happen, but I'm praying like, Lord, if I could just get these licenses, I could just be done with this job. Rushing the pregnancy.
Right. Okay. Okay.
How can I be birthing something and I'm rushing, but I'm really not giving myself the proper nutrition and the proper care for myself and to prepare me for what's coming up next.
So basically, you were walking by faith. Don't you think everything was like ordered?
Everything.
Had it not been for you getting hurt at work,
everything,
you probably wouldn't have birthed the business or in the birthing process.
Exactly.
So even there, you can see God's hands working in the midst of it.
In the midst of everything.
Everything.
And I was sitting back and I was like, when I finally got the diagnosis for my son, I sat there and I was like, this is really my purpose, because it hit me so different, because I already knew that I wanted to have this type of career. I knew that I wanted to work with people, but then when he gave me the diagnosis of my child, I was like, oh, so not only am I already caring for the people like as if they're my own, but I have to really care for my own child that's in this kind of position as well.
So tell us, what position? What do you do? What is your business? What is your service? Okay.
I house adults who needs housing, who needs rehabilitation.
Okay.
Who I have one guy who family moved out of state, and he didn't want to go, and they could no longer care for him. So my place is set up. I provide meals. I provide the laundry services. Okay. I have different programs in place. If they want to work, they could go through Jewish Family Services, and they offer programs for people with disability through ODD. Also, it's 2 other agencies, the Life Exchange Center and the Magnolia House. That's where we could send individuals there as well for day programs and activities and, just an outlet so they don't have to be in a house all day. Because people think when they hear group homes that it's just chaotic and it's crazy and people just here smoking cigarettes all day, tearing up your walls, and like, oh, you take care of these crazy people. But it's like, somebody got to do it. Yeah. We all
and they're not crazy people. They're people just need a little bit of help.
Exactly. Right. But you have to have people that has the patience and the understanding of, these individuals was born into this, first of all. Secondly, they don't have the right, or they hadn't had the right to support all of these years. And when the group homes did surface years ago, it was just like, hey, here's a bed, here's a room, they can stay here, we'll take the burden off of your hand, but they're just staying there and they're not being rehabilitated. So yes, they do have a choice of if they want to get up and go or whatever they want to do, but the encouragement, the push, the faith that's given to them, like, hey, you are not what people label you as. You have just as much power as a regular person that's walking down the street. And even with a regular person that's walking down the street, you never know what their inner abilities might be.
What's going on?
So that's what I do. So it took for me to get totally sat down at work when my son had his surgery. It was supposed to be in and out. We had the surgery. They let us go. 10 days later, he was throwing up blood in his sleep. Oh, and we had to go back through the surgery again. So at that point in time, we had to stay in the hospital for a while. And I was in there, and the post office calling me like, when you coming back to work? When you coming back to work? And I'm like, my child's sick. I don't know. It's up in the air. We here. I was sitting there because they had my son on morphine. I was holding him by the window. And I was like, Lord, I just need to get out this job. And I know that by the grace of you, it's going to come when it need to come. But my job is on the limb because it's like I had used all my pandemic time. I didn't use up my sick time because, the baby had been sick back and forth. And it was like, what's my next move? I opened up my emails for some reason, and my license was there.
Wow.
My license was there. It was July. It was July of last year, July 2020. They had issued my license May of 2020, but due to the pandemic, it hadn't even came through. Paperwork was moving so slow and all this. And I was like, I've been in a position.
Wow.
I was just waiting, for these people to give me the approval, but it was like I was already there.
Right.
So I was like, okay, now what's the next step? Because I was just been waiting for these licenses, and I'm like, well, what's next? So went back to work. Was off a few more weeks. Went back for like 2 days, and then it was just something that was like, I can't do this. So I took the rest of my leave, and then I was just like, I gotta go out here and market. I gotta go out here and market. I have to make flyers. I have to know what to do because making phone calls, people not in the office.
So how long was that process?
It's still a process.
Okay, but to get from where you at now.
Let me tell you, I received my license in July. I received my first resident in October of 2020. So from January of 2020, I was paying rent for a space that nobody was living in. So for almost a year, I had to invest into this business. And I was like, I was getting so frustrated because I'm like, I'm paying rent here, I'm paying rent there. Because my brother sold the house. Remember from the beginning. I'm going to put you in a lease. When I put you in this lease, you go, this is going to happen. So I was doing it, struggling. I'm like, I'm paying a rent here, car note, da-da-da-da. And it just been working out. So I got my first resident, and I met that case manager because I was down that front line with my flyer waiting on these people to show up to work. Like, are you a case manager? Are you a case manager? So then I was going down to William Crosgrove's because, that's where people go to eat at the shelter. Then I knew that I wanted to do men, but the first person that came to me was a woman. And I was like, I'm not going to turn it down. I'm going to just pay the way. Found a homeless lady, helped her get herself together. But then I realized women might not be my specialty. So I was like, and then the guy that I have now, he was coming along. So that was about December of 2020.
So let me ask you this. So how much research did you do? How did you know where to go to get these, the individuals? How did you know?
I went down to the county, and they have this blue paper, and it's like a 2-on-1 paper. It's called a street card. And on the street card, it has where you could go get meals, where you could go to the hospital, and all of this. So I had knew that you get clients from the psych hospitals and things like that. So I went the same fee. Pass some flyers out there, but it was like I still have to be persistent. It's something else. Like, it's an inside person. It's somebody that knows somebody.
Yeah.
So
a connection.
It's a connection. So I just put my name out there. I put myself out there, and it was like, we have social media, but the type of work that I do, it's not case managers that's broadcasting, hey, I have 3 clients that need a bedroom right now. Like, it's really phone call to phone call, home to home, owner to owner. So they set people, whereas it's like these people that's been in the game for like 20, 30 years and 15 years. So they had a set people who they could go to because they have more rooms. And by me getting my license during the pandemic, the Adams Board was closed. So the Adams Board is the biggest connection.
Okay, so what is the Adams Board?
The Adams Board is the top person when it comes to mental health. They are like the White House. They are the connection. They help with, they are the resource. They connect you to housing. They help you with like conferences. They keep you up on your trainings. They are the people that you go to when you want to report abuse, the ombudsman. They are everybody, and they located right on West 25th.
So how did you find out about them?
I found out about the Adams Board through the state of Ohio.
Okay.
When I went through, my surveying process.
Okay.
So the Adams Board shut down. So they are the main connection.
Okay.
I had to become my own Adams Board. So I had to, the resources that they have, that they be like, you say, hey, here's my flyer, and then send it out to this email, and people will call you like that. I had to do that.
Okay.
So I had to Google. I had to ask people. Like, I had found 2 group homes in East Cleveland, and I just went and talked to them, and I was like, hey, how did y'all, get started, And she was like, this lady, she gave me 2 case managers. So I was like, okay, well, this 3 case managers that I have now. So the guy that I have, he was my first guy. And right before I had got him, his dad had passed away.
Okay.
And his family was in the process about to move to Florida. So I was like, oh my goodness, like, I'm about to get this man. He about to be so fragile. And I'm like, is this something that I really want to do? And he has been the best person that was for me. So once I got connected with his case manager, she connected me with more case managers. So now my house about to be filled up, and I'm getting rid of the women to place them somewhere else. So now I have other men coming in. Then it's slow. Then I was like, okay, then it slowed down. So it's up and then it's down. That's how it is.
But it's all about connection.
It's all about the connection.
Advertising with the mouth. You did your research.
I did my research.
You went out there to find out all the information that you needed to have to do what you needed to do.
I'm telling you. And it was like people that I did know that do have homes. It was like, hey, what do I have to do to like get some case managers? Because they house filled up. They, I gotta call and see if I could give her number out, or I gotta see if my mentor could. And I'll be like, okay, so if we here to help everybody, why is it an issue for you to give a phone number up? But I said, you know what? I'm gonna just do it on my own, and I'm gonna implement a program for people that's coming out of the same training that I took, because it's a standstill. It's gonna be a standstill at whatever life. We'll be selling on, but then at some point it's gonna be a standstill. It's gonna be a storm. It's gonna be something that's gonna happen that you gotta push through. And I just been pushing through. So I done had 2 clients. I done had 3 clients. I done got paid. I done had a house full of clients, 4 clients, because I have 4 bedrooms. So I chose not to double up the rooms. I feel like people need their own space.
So I hear you mention pretty much some people helped you and some people just really didn't want to help you.
Exactly.
So did you, especially as a woman, when you reached out to the other women or, men, like you got a whole lot of roadblocks?
I did. With the women, yes. I haven't encountered too many men. I done had like 2 male case managers, and that's really about it. The guys, they just like, hey, what's up? What can I do? Even the guy that I picked up as my mentor, his name Dwayne Griffin, he has group homes, and he specializes in different things. And I was talking to him, and I was telling him, like, what is it that we can do so we can like come together into helping each other in some type of way. And he was like, come on, I'm gonna take you up under my wing. And it was like, we sat down and we talked, and it was like, oh, you got some of the same connects I have. I'm like, yeah. He was like, well, what's up? And I was like, I just got to this point. I'm trying to get to the next level. Yeah. So the women, it was just like, okay, look, sisters. Because that's how we, we sis, when we out, if we see each other when we out and stuff like that. So why we can't be sisters when it's time to get and go in business
because
together?
It's big enough for all of us.
It's big enough for all of us.
It's not like it's a little place. It's a
I'm telling
big
you,
place.
It's so many counties here. So it's like you have a group home, I have a group home. We in Cuyahoga County. Let's go ahead and let's see about going to the next county. Yes. Or let's see about going to the next county and who we could know in this county and things like that, because we need to have a notebook, and our notebook need to be filled up with resources.
Let's build each other up.
Let's build each other up. So I have one friend that I do work close to because my mentor passed passed her to me. So, and our group home is like literally 3 streets behind each other. So we work hand in hand together. And it was like,
that's awesome.
She was in a standstill like, Kat, I need help. Doris gave me your number. And I'm like, girl, listen, it's somebody that's the connection, but I'm here to help you. So when I was getting case managers and they was calling me and they was like, we have women. I'm like, I don't take women. We work together. She do co-ed. And then it was another lady that I met in the grocery store. And then my dad was working. He worked for the water department. So he was like, I'm fixing this lady house. He like, if she got a group home, he was like, and I'm about to give her your number so you can help her. And I'm like, Dad, how can I help somebody? And I'm trying to help. I said, but give her my number. So, you know, I just gave them the information that I knew. And then I thought that my information that I knew was so little, but it was so a lot to them, you know? And I was like, oh, okay, Lord, I see you. That little mustard seed go a long way.
Yes. So tell us, what services do GMAP provide in the group homes?
We provide advocacy, a lot of mental health advocacy. I promote God all through the house. I don't care who you are, which religion you want to fall under. Just pray. Pray your way through. One of my clients, he has severe depression. More so seasonal depression, and I never had really witnessed that a lot. So he goes off, and he grew up into church, and his dad used to take him to church, and he used to do different things. So I promote, they tell you to stay away from religion a lot of the times, but I say God bless this house. So if it come to my heart, and I'm sitting up here having to talk somebody off of the limb, because me personally, if I don't have to call the EMS, I don't want to. I don't feel like it's okay for you to just keep going to the hospital and they change your medications and they up in the dose, and you sitting there, you like a zombie, and it's just like you have no way to just really think for yourself. You know, I feel like if you have to be in that type of mind state, then you need to be housed, you know, somewhere that's more appropriate for you. So I go there and I pray. And like, you know, and then been a couple of times where I done walked away from him and he didn't like got himself together, and I'm looking like, oh my goodness, Lord, I didn't know I had this in me. Like, until you get into that point, because it's like you ready,
powerful.
Man, like you trying to take yourself away, like you trying to take yourself out. Like what did your dad tell you? You told me your dad used to tell you this. Like, let's say the Lord's Prayer. Like, let's get this out. And then I'm walking away like, oh Lord, I ain't know. Like, oh, okay.
That's how he works dualistically. Touch him and touch you at the same time.
So, so then if it's not a program that I could do, because I don't offer transportation.
Okay.
So I will take them to the doctor if they case manager can't. Like, during the pandemic, even still now, some of them don't. They'll come by, but you know, they need that extra help. You know, Cleveland Clinic is very big. And those are one of my resources that I send people to. Like, hey, Cleveland Clinic is they have everything there.
Okay.
So just imagine you sending somebody to the doctor, and it's like, you got this appointment here in the G building, and they looking like, okay, how can I make this? You know what? I just go with you.
Yeah.
We do a test run. I go with you, and we go get it done. Like I do daily personal services. We do in the morning time. I try to make it to where as we get up and we speak life or we write on the board. But I'm dealing with men here. So some days it's better than no day. Okay. So if I have 4 people. So if I can get at least 2 people to just come together, then it's good. But if it's just one, then that's fine. I encourage health and wealth and fitness. Okay. I don't have a fitness instructor right now to like really come by and just do like nutritional things with them, but there is like VNA, Visiting Nursing Association. They come by, they do nutritional health. So it's a lot of different agencies that do come through to really help them, and I really encourage their case managers before they leave them for us to stay in contact with each other. Like, we need to talk on a weekly basis.
So do you have any employees?
I am the only employee. I do everything. I'm the boss and the worker.
So you cook, you wash, or do they
Yes,
have?
I have found a cleaning lady, a lady that just wanted to come, a lady that had just wanted to come by and make some extra cash. So she's good at cleaning. So
Okay.
I was like, listen, because I cleaned my house, then I had a second floor at the facility, then the first floor. So it's a lot. So I do have her. She come by once a week.
Oh, good. Okay.
And when I go out of town, if I need a break, my friend, she
Comes
come
in.
over and she help them out. She give them their meals and stuff. Like I have containers. This
Right.
is breakfast.
Well,
This is
this
lunch.
is-
This is dinner.
It's awesome. Well, thank you, Kat,
Yes.
for coming to Women of Wisdom Let's Talk podcast.
Yes.
If anyone wanted to get in contact with you in regards to the services you provide, how can they reach you?
I am on Instagram at gmapcat and also probably by my phone number.
Okay. Okay.
But I am on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram, and do not have a business Facebook profile because I try to limit myself from social media a lot, but I am working on that phase of life. So just pray for me on that aspect.
Okay. Well, thank you, Kat, for joining us today.
Thank you, Janetta.
You're welcome. And this is Women of Wisdom podcast. Let's talk. And if you want to know anything about Women of Wisdom, you can reach me on the website womenofwisdom.org. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and have a blessed and awesome day. Or do they have?
Yes,